So you're an OnlyFans creator and you're doing everything your agency is asking you to do, but you're stagnant because your agency is just copying other creators one-to-one and wondering why you're stagnant and not breaking through, because your agency thinks that copying other creators one-to-one, hiring VAs from Telegram to repost hot garbage is going to get you and get them ahead. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So you're in some really hot water. But luckily, there is a way to get out of that. And I'm going to explain how. First and foremost, the top agencies are hiring storyboarders, they're hiring comedy writers, they're hiring creative directors, they're hiring people that understand how content on social media work. And that's super important to start with. You can't just copy what other people are doing and hope that you'll blow up, because it's a very, very shitty, low quality strategy. It has to be a little bit deeper than that, which means that what you're offering not only has to be valuable, but there has to be some element of uniqueness to it. So we talked about this in a previous video, but basically you need to have association. So you need to look like you belong with the other successful creators, the other successful OnlyFans creators in the industry, in the niche, in the space. But you also need, besides having association, you need something called differentiation, which means you have to come across as someone who isn't just a copy, a carbon copy of another more successful creator. Because the worst thing you can be is a cheap copy of someone else when you have the potential to be a unique, outstanding, amazing version of yourself. So the first thing we have to get out of the way is that if your content isn't performing, there is a 99% chance that it is not the algorithm, it's the content. And that's sort of kind of tough for us all to wrestle with, because that's true for me, it's true for you, it's true for the CEO of Insta, it's true for basically any creator putting their content out on the platform. Like if it's not performing, it's because the content sucks. But there's a way to figure out if the content sucks and why it might be sucking. But before we get there, I will say, if you're working with an agency that's supposed to deliver results and you're not getting the results and you're doing what they're asking, that's their fault, not yours, because ultimately that's their job. Sustainability requires some element of originality. Like you can't just keep copying and then throwing shit to the wall to see what sticks and just hoping for the best. That's a very low quality, unintelligent, problematic strategy to be going forward with. Ultimately, trends die, but creator and narratives and journeys live. That's a very important thing to understand, because if you keep chasing trends, at some point you're going to die with the trend. But if you're original, if you're on a journey, if you have a narrative hook to your content. And what I mean by a narrative hook to your content, like, is there a theme? Is there a purpose? Is there some type of growth taking place? Is there an evolution? Is there a goal? Is there a purpose? And I'm not saying you have to get super deep, but you should be seeing something like that, which will make people more emotionally compelled to connect with your content. So trends die, but characters live. And if your agency isn't building your character, then ultimately they're burning your brand. So I'm building my own character and my own brand right now. Now with my Insta, I just used it as a networking tool, posted a couple pictures of myself, didn't really post any content, but because most of the people that follow me right now are just people I know from my personal life, people that I've met, people that I've hung out with, people that I run into at like networking events, I'm pivoting my content, which means I'm starting at zero. But I wanted to practice what I preach and put my money where my mouth is, because in this industry, it's a lot of people talking and a lot of people going over theory and hypotheticals, but not a lot of people who will actually live what they're talking about. And I just want you to see that in real time, the things that I'm talking about, the strategies and the systems that I'm ranting and raving about do in fact work. And I'm using myself as the guinea pig, and I'm using myself as the evidence that it does work. Now, obviously there is the possibility that I won't blow up, it won't go crazy, but I don't care, because I want to show that I know what it takes and I know what it's like to be a creator, while also understanding the ups and downs and the pitfalls and the things that go right and all the things that go wrong. So yeah, one of the things that goes wrong a lot is that we don't realize how the algorithm works, and it's a very simple testing process. When you create content, the algorithm will first send the content to people who follow you. If it doesn't perform well with the people that follow you, then the algorithm will assume that the content isn't that good. The algorithm will still send your content to a second test. So what I will do is just explain super quick how the algorithm works. And it's just a series of checkpoints and testing points. So at first, your content will go to the people who follow you. If they respond positively, then your content will go to the next test, which is just people who don't follow you. If they respond positively, then your content will go to another test where the algorithm will show your content to even more people. And if you still have a favorable response, then the algorithm will conclude that your content is good and worth showing to a large amount of people. And then eventually we're looking at areas of like virality. But because this video has already gone on a bit too long, DM me the word create if you want me to give you my full content creation and ideation systems for free. Follow for more tips.